Welcome to your source for research, innovation, news, insights, and commentary. Welcome to your Research Business Daily Report, where we're sponsored today and this week by Nuance, offering multi-language verbatim coding services that help companies quantify the meaning of open-ended answers. Nuance, a decision analyst company. Readers of Fast Company have been informed in a column that all the talk about second screen in conjunction with TV viewing is highly overstated. It cited a survey of 1,665 respondents aged 15 to 54 from the Council for Research Excellence. That's a media research group that is funded by Nielsen. The study found that just 16.1% of all the respondents say they use social media while watching primetime television. Those respondents were said to be representative of people who actually go online. But here's the bottom line. Less than half of those people on social media were talking about what they were watching on television. Facebook was their most popular social network. 11.4% of the TV watchers were on Facebook. Compare that with Twitter at only 3.3%. Yesterday we highlighted a major Forrester research finding, and today we've got another one from another study. This one, a B2B study that concludes that corporate internal data systems contain only a very small percentage of the buyer data that B2B marketers need in order to gauge a deep understanding of their customers. Quoting Laura Ramos, an analyst for Forrester, B2B CMOs who make business decisions based on internal data with all of its imperfections and gaps risk the same fate as hikers who head off into the wilderness without a compass or a map. Add to that, she says, the vastness of operational systems that make internal data hard to manage and buyer-specific questions that tend to slow things down. And she said there's technology that may very well provide the how, but for some reason not the why. And that's another complication in this process. Check out Forrester's highly detailed report that says, surprise, the answer to all of this is analytics. In closing today, we'd been asked several weeks ago by Ashlyn Bennell, who's the managing editor at marketresearch.com, if she could join us to provide insights about how to take optimum advantage of social media integrated with traditional research. But first, as you will hear, she says we need to get past some very early negative perceptions about social media, and then researchers need to learn how to use social media.
Thanks, Bob. In just a few years, nearly 2.5 billion people will be engaged on social media. So if essentially a third of the Earth's population is interacting via social channels, there have to be viable ways of using social media within the market research community. I think that part of the market research industry's hesitance to fully adopt social media comes from society's original perception of it. When social media was first introduced to the business world, it was largely dismissed because it was really thought of as trivial and unreliable. So particularly for market research, why would something so vulnerable to anonymity and a lack of validity seem like a viable research tool? But the reality is that social networks have become an integral part of the business universe. Most major corporations have social media managers, and universities are really recognizing this and putting the career path into their programs. I think the other major reason social media hasn't really been capitalized on by the market research community is the fact that many researchers simply don't know how to leverage social's capabilities. We really have to get away from this thinking that social media is only useful for conducting primary research. Unless you're a largely consumer-based company that can derive some sort of actionable data from social's activities, the really only tangible benefit comes through social networking. Social platforms allow market researchers to connect with other industry professionals around the world. So things like Google Plus Hangouts and groups on LinkedIn and Facebook help you engage with a community of people who share many of the same goals as you, but that you would have never met otherwise. Plus, as a researcher, you're really required to access a lot of diverse information, and the fact of the matter is you have to acquire that information rather quickly. Social networking gives you the ability to stay almost instantaneously up to date on the latest in your industry. Particularly with channels like Twitter, real-time pulse checking really leverages two of researchers' most important priorities, timeliness and time management. One of the other important things to remember is that people love to share. I mean, essentially, it's why a third of the world is engaged on social media in the first place. So as more and more credible researchers interact on social platforms, the more high-quality, reliable market research content will become available, and ultimately, hopefully that will lead to the advancement of the industry. But in the end, I think it all comes down to the fact that researchers truly have to embrace and understand how to use social media for these networking purposes. And they have to understand how to apply it in these practical ways. If you want to know more about taking advantage of social media, you can download marketresearch.com's free white paper, How to Use Social Media for Market Research. I'm Ashlyn Bennell, and my 2 minutes are up.
The study that Ashlyn referred to is available from us. It's in a link that went out to our email subscribers, and it's also in the content box beneath today's video. That's your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored by Nuance, offering multi-language verbatim coding services to help companies quantify the meaning of open-ended answers. Nuance, a decision analyst company. If you need a service of this type, this is one to take a look at. It's got 13 plus language capabilities, and it will cover everything from text files and handwritten text, audio recordings, to images. We've got a link to nuancecoding.com, also in our email and in the content box. Have a great research day, and we will see you back here tomorrow.